reverberations echo throughout the landscape of Twitch and YouTube, for one of the greatest Twitch streamers and YouTubers has decided to stop going exclusively with Twitch. And it was his choice. Moistcritikal has decided to ask for an ending of his contract with Twitch. And I wanted to react to it because, well, I watch his content a lot on Twitch and especially on YouTube. And I haven't had a Twitch contract probably in about 6 to 9 months, which is why I'm now also able to stream on YouTube and have that freedom. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that I think is interesting for me and maybe for you guys as well. So let's check it out.
Think of a great title for this video, so it ended up sounding a little more intense than I planned for it to be, but make no mistake, it's still going to be a high-octane video that's going to blow your hair back. I am saying goodbye to Twitch, but not fully in the way that you think. It's not like a funeral service for the Moistcritikal Twitch channel. That would be the saddest way of going out ever, because the last broadcast on there is from last night, and it is some of the most despicably trash Warlock gameplay Dark and Darker has ever seen. Having that cursed footage be the last thing broadcast on my Twitch channel before retiring it would be more embarrassing than if my dick pics leaked. So, pop a squat by the fireplace and let me explain.
All right.
My Twitch contract has been terminated amicably between myself and Twitch, and a huge thanks to Twitch for being so willing to do that, because I did still have a lot of time remaining on my Twitch contract, but I wanted to be able to have flexibility to stream elsewhere, and Twitch fully understood and gave me that firm pat on the ass and said, you go get 'em, champ. So, I am no longer exclusive with Twitch. Now, this isn't me announcing that I've signed somewhere else with like a contract. This isn't like a LeBron James The Decision moment where I'm coming up here and saying, I'm taking my talent, well, for me, I'm taking my lack of talent to Mixer. It's nothing like that. This is just simply me saying Twitch was nice enough to turn our contract into toilet paper, which is what I wanted, because
It's been a while since Twitch has basically stopped doing contracts. So way back in 2010, 2011, we had Justin TV, and then they became Twitch TV so that they could focus and brand themselves entirely around gaming content, which of course now has changed back to become more inclusive of non-gaming content, what with just chatting streams and the swimming in the bathtubs and so on. So now it's basically back to its core identity of a gaming style, everything kind of live streaming content platform. And in those days, Twitch was competing with owned TV, and there was a bit of a, let's say, a bidding race in order to get their platform to grow by getting at the time, usually it was pro gamers, right? Because there weren't any streamers yet, because there was no commercially available platform to allow everyone to stream at, because streaming requires a lot of infrastructure and bandwidth and whatnot. So usually it was ex-pros or active pros that would also stream on the site, which included me. So I was streaming back on Justin TV as well. And basically there was two organizations bidding for me. I remember Own3D TV offered me more money per month, and Twitch offered less. But I felt like Twitch was more reliable and probably more long-lasting, and this turned out to be true as well. So I went with Twitch, and I was one of the first 10 Twitch partners to partner with them and to have some kind of contract that stipulated that I'm going to be exclusively streaming on Twitch. There was a very small remuneration for that in return. And in exchange, I also promised to wear their logo at all the events that I went to. So it was more framed in the kind of traditional Twitch sponsorship, where they gave a small sum per month, but a nice sum per month that allowed me to buy my tickets. Because at this time I had gone independent. I was no longer in an esports team, to buy my tickets to go to StarCraft 2 competitions. And in exchange, Twitch logo and exclusively streaming on Twitch. And then over the last 10 years, that was kind of expanded. Is it 10 years? Yeah, it's 10 years. 10 years plus. It kind of expanded to become more about full-time streaming. The Twitch asks went up. They asked for more hours per month, and also the remuneration went up a little bit as an esteemed and veteran partner that has helped grow the website from the ground up. And eventually, I guess they felt that that part of their growth strategy had ended, so now they're not offering anyone any new contracts anymore. But I figured that people like Moistcritikal, Charlie, were going to be exempt from that. while I am big on Twitch, I like to think of it as medium, but like by the stats, it is relatively big. Not huge, but I thought that people that were like ultra big, like Moistcritikal, were going to continue to be offered contracts, even if they said they were ending them all internally. It turns out he did ask for this one to finish, and let's check the rest.
I really like the idea of not being forced into one place. I'd like to be able to spread my fucking butterfly wings and be able to try different things on different platforms. So it means a lot that Twitch was willing to, terminate that contract, because under that contract, I couldn't. But now the dog's off the leash. I could rip my shirt off, twirl it over my head like a helicopter blade, and start streaming on Facebook if I wanted to. If I was a crazy person. I'm not doing that. Never happening. But I could, is the point. Now, one thing that I've been pretty vocal about is I do think streaming contracts are a great thing, not only for streamers, but for the audience as well. Because I really do like the idea that you can just watch streams for free. You never need to turn on donations. You never need anyone to pay with subs or anything like that. There'd be no expectation or some feeling of obligation to pay for the streaming content you're watching, because you'd know the streamer is getting some kind of hourly rate or some kind of contract with the platform they're on. I
didn't think about it that way before. It kind of makes sense, right? If Twitch pays, so essentially it would be... he's framing it a bit like how it would be like Netflix or Spotify. Like, I don't know if people would enjoy that. In order to watch or listen to Spotify, you can either listen to loads of ads, which I find so jarring that I must have a Spotify account. Then, let's say if you paid $15 for Twitch, and then you could watch anyone ad-free, and then based on who you're watching, the streamer gets a pro rata profit from it. That could be cool. Like, you get a revenue share from Twitch by having views on your channel. Alternatively, they could pay a down payment, like a kind of fixed rate to Twitch streamers based on, I don't know, their size, how many viewers they have. And then even, it would be like pre-agreed. Then even if you blow up, your revenue per month wouldn't go up a lot because they already negotiated a deal with you.
I just think that's fucking fantastic and should be the future, because me streaming a game shouldn't be something that's paywalled or inundated with ads out.
I personally do like the sub structure of Twitch, the way that it works. It's voluntary, so long as you never guilt trip people, and it's entirely voluntary and freely and happily given the sub. I think that's a wonderful support structure.
Out the wazoo. It should be something you could just flip on, completely free to watch and have nothing else to do but kick back and have fun. Streamers not having to
Grubby coerced me to do this. Send help. Thanks for the tier 3 sub.
Rely on donations, I think, is just a great win-win across the board, because unfortunately there are times where someone gives more money than they should to someone that is financially far better off than they are, and it's just an unfortunate circumstance.
I'm not sure if I get what he's saying. If someone gives money to someone far better off than they are, that is a bit of a problem. I think we all do this all the time. Like, anytime you buy anything from Amazon or from any company, like, they're always by definition better off than you as well, right? Like, if I go buy some milk from the local farmer, chances are that farmer's got it made. He's working hard, yeah. But, I think if you have like a big farm, you're running a pretty good big business. And I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's an issue. People pay whatever they think is worth it. They donate freely anything they think is worth it or they want to support, and that's always going to keep happening. But I do think it's nice when some of the pressure is taken off the viewer or the streamer, with the platform paying a little bit of a guaranteed amount that basically makes the content creator safer, and therefore the platform is safeguarding their own content quality or selection by making sure that they can keep doing it even if they have a downturn in viewership and then later it goes up again and so on and so forth.
Stance of the
but he means giving more than they should, like more than the basic price. Right. I mean, that's something like, you mean like if someone is giving 100 for attention and then giving another 100 for attention and they actually hate it, they hate that they're doing it, but they can't stop. But that's a different issue, isn't it? And there's very little of that, I think, happening. Sometimes I check with people like, did you put 1-0 too much? Are you comfortable with this? Are you comfortable in your life? Still want to? Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Streaming landscape that I think could be improved if contracts were more normalized in the streaming space. And this is going to sound a little weird because I just terminated my Twitch contract, yet I'm talking about how good contracts can be for streaming. So this is where I'm just going to be totally open and honest. All the money I make from streaming goes into our esports organization, Moist Esports. And if you know anything about esports, you'd know it's an absolute bonfire for money. It is actually just flushing money down a toilet forever without ever...
I take offense to that. I've been hearing this opinion repeated a lot, but is it really true? The question is if the sponsors get the value that they pay for it. So here's how I'm assuming, okay? If we're getting venture capital from a novel sponsor and it lasts 2 years until the contract ends and then the team folds, that to me looks like a proper black hole of investment that the investors end up not being happy with. But do you think like when a BenQ, a SteelSeries, a Razer, an Asus, when they sponsor teams and players, which they've done admittedly more in the past from 2000 to 2020, more than now, don't you think that they build name of that they distinguish themselves from the others? I think absolutely yes.
We're seeing any return. It's why so many of these orgs go completely defunct. It is just bleeding money until there is nothing left to bleed.
I don't understand why him and Ludwig are doing it if they're losing hundreds of thousands, unless they somehow think it's worth it. Unless it really comes from like their appreciation of esports and they've just decided it is a form of charity, in which case it's true then the esports isn't real. It might be for passion or fun because obviously they're very equitable creators. They have quite a bit of spending money. Yeah, I don't think they're stupid. Arskis. It's for Valorant, a lot of streamers are onto it, yeah. Ludwig does it as a form of charity. The dude loves Melee, yeah. It makes a name for themselves. Yeah, I mean, I think it makes you feel more set. It makes you more settled. It makes you more of a concept. Before Mr. Beast's burger sometimes didn't work out exactly in execution. I think the idea that you have a YouTuber that now is a purveyor of food, it kind of builds out the feeling of who they are more than just what they were before.
It's tiers. That's just the landscape of esports, but we're in esports because we're passionate about it. I fucking love the esports scene. I really do. So all the money I've made over the last 2 years from streaming has all gone into Moist Esports, and that will continue to be the case going forward.
That's crazy.
With the Twitch contract, if you ask anyone who's currently under Twitch contracts, you'll know, they'll tell you, it is the lowest possible offer across any of the other streaming platforms that have ever offered contracts. It's about 1/10 of what the rest of the industry was offering streamers. Now, I'm pretty sure Twitch put the kibosh on offering contracts in general, but when they were, it was a pretty large ask from the streamer in terms of hours broadcast per month, as well as ad density. There was always an ad expectation. Of course, there was wiggle room in terms of how...
So, my Twitch contract was like 2 minutes per hour of ads. And I really hated pressing this button. This one. The 3-minute ad button. This is the kind of thing that the streamer can press, and then a viewer will see 1 out of 9 ads beginning. Full takeover of the screen. Nowadays, Twitch has a tiny little window about this big where you can see what's happening, but you don't hear the sound. Press it now? No, I'm not going to press it. This button, you can press this once every 8 minutes. So in theory, if you wanted to, you could put 3/8 of your live stream to be entirely ads. And that could make you some money. And so the way that it works is that you get some ad impression money for this. You can see it in your dashboard and whatnot. But I felt like always the people subbing was enough. And then Twitch offered like a small contract per month. For me, that was enough. I didn't want to press this one. But a couple of years ago, Twitch started saying, all right, we're going to need you guys to start running ads. If you want your contract with Twitch to continue, we're going to have to do 2 minutes per hour. And I accepted that deal. And I didn't always make it every month just because I feel so bad about clicking that button. Now, that is also partially because, first of all, I don't want to interrupt any games. because if I do it during the game, you're going to miss a key moment. And then secondly, after the game is when most people run it. But after the game, I'm talking. During the game, I may not have been talking that much. After the game, I want to say, here's what happened. Here's why I won. Here's why I lost. And if I need to self-censor for 3 minutes so I make sure that, cute viewers don't miss any part of the stream because I ran the 3 minutes of ads, now I'm bored for 3 minutes as well because I can't tell. I have to delay anything that is important and interesting. All right, press it during draft. Yeah, sure. I mean, I could do it, but I felt, and I did mostly almost reach it, the 2 minutes per month, and I actually lose money because it was pro rata. So if I don't reach the 2 minutes per hour over the amount of hours that I was supposed to stream, then I lost some money, which feels kind of stupid because it's not that hard to press it. But I still found it mentally quite hard to press it because I think it is the way that Twitch ads are being shown is not what should be the end product of how ads are shown. I go make coffee for 3 minutes. Yeah, sure, but I can't make coffee that many times a day. You can play ads at the end of the stream. Sure, yeah, that works. That's actually a good loophole for it. Happy has a hotkey for the button. Yeah, I think Happy has one of those automatic chickens that keeps pecking down on the keyboard. But yeah, end of the stream ads and then show some highlights. I think that's a pretty good strat. I guess I never innovated it enough. But that's that's how that is. So yeah. And then later on, I told you it was 2 minutes. Later on, like in the last year, the ad offer deal changed. I could no longer keep my contract of 2 minutes per hour. They started asking me to run like 4 minutes per hour, 5 minutes per hour, 8 minutes per hour. And I'm thinking, wait, 8 minutes per hour? So if I play one game of Dota 2, that is 1 hour, then I have to run 8 minutes ads. So that's pressing this button 3 times. So I would interrupt the Dota game 3 times with ad 1 of 9 beginning, ad 2 of 9 beginning. And I'm like, that's so disruptive. And they offered a lot of money for it, but it's too disruptive. It's like, what are you even doing at this time anymore? Like, there's almost not so much entertainment in watching that anymore. At least that's how I felt. So anyway, now I have nothing because no more contract. So Charlie apparently still had one, which is what I found interesting, and he chose to end it. Now, I've never chosen to end mine. Twitch ended it.
How many ads you'd play per hour, but there was always that expectation, which, as I've said many times, I think is not conducive to a good viewer experience because of how poorly ads are implemented on the platform. I think the ads are way too intrusive, and there's a lot of room for improvement there. So the contract was very strict, and the payment from the contract was not enough to even cover a single one of the Moist esports teams. So we all just kind of felt like this contract isn't really doing anything except making the streams worse because of having to pump ads into them, and it just didn't make sense anymore. And we wanted to try new content, but we couldn't really get excited about Twitch as a platform because not only that, the platform's kind of been making some horrible decisions over the last couple of years. I do think they're starting to get a little bit better. Like, I think they're starting to get it a bit more, but not much. Like, I'm hoping they'll correct course here and steer the ship a bit better, but it's just been hard to get passionate about Twitch, and I'm sure a lot of other streamers have felt the same way. I've seen quite a few of them say similar things. But again, the primary motivation has just been that flexibility, not being locked down by the Twitch contract, which had the very strict exclusivity clause where you couldn't stream anywhere else, and I don't think there would have ever been an exception where they'd let us stream elsewhere. And it's something I've wanted to do different type of content in different places.
I know that part may be like a little bit confusing to some people. Why should you need to do different content in different places? I think if you don't think like a content creator, you're going to find that confusing because can't you already do different things on Twitch? Can't you already do different things on YouTube? Why are you beholden to any one particular type of content? And technically that is true, but now we're getting more into like the algorithmic waters of both platforms. Sometimes the reason that people make a second Twitch channel or a second YouTube channel is because they want to do other type of content that is not necessarily maybe as much in vogue with their main base. And by putting it on another channel, they're allowing that content to breathe without the pressure of being compared to the other content. The reason Asmongold has a second channel, a lot of it is mental as well, right? Because he wants to not feel pressured and just sometimes you're streaming for your viewers and sometimes you're streaming and sharing your experience, but you're playing for yourself. There's a big psychological difference in it, whether you feel the pressure to be super entertaining or to focus on what they want, or instead you're focusing on what you want, but you're sharing it with your viewers and they share back their mood about what you're doing in return. So having different like destinations for different content, be it a second YouTube channel or a second Twitch channel, or being able to choose, I've got this event coming up, I've got this live stream, I've got this Let's Play, being able to choose where you're going to do it, be it TikTok, YouTube, or Twitch, is flexible. So I do understand it, especially someone of his size, that it's not all about money for him anymore. I don't know what kind of deal he had with Twitch, how much that was worth. But apparently he said everything went into his esports team. In another video, someone rightly said he spent hundreds of thousands. So maybe his deal was worth about that. But then there's also sub count. So, I don't know exactly. But at some point, you're going to want to like develop certain content creation ideas, which might be more valuable to him than, just a couple of extra dollars, which a contract would be worth. For my position, I probably wouldn't have asked for a Twitch contract end, but now that it happens, I also have peace with it. And I did a couple of YouTube streams as well, which I think is nice and a very different feeling. So I feel that too, that you can do different things on different platforms. You can test out what works. It's fun experimentation.
Most notably, like YouTube streaming, I think would be a very fun place to try some of our newer, bigger projects on, as opposed to being forced to do them on Twitch. Which is nice because I've been wanting to try different things on YouTube streaming in particular. I know that's not the most shocking platform switch ever, considering I actively post videos on this platform already, but I really feel like the streaming side of here is just a totally different beast. And if we have any octogenarians in the audience right now, many of you might remember that I actually did used to stream on YouTube back in 2017. I streamed on here for about a year, and then in 2018 I made the switch back to Twitch, and I've been exclusive on there since 2018. That platform's always been my home for streaming, and it brings a tear to my eye thinking back on it. Not many people know this. This is deep-cut Charles lore here, but I used to stream on Twitch way before it was Twitch. Back in 2010, I was an active streamer on Justin TV, which would eventually become Twitch. And boy howdy.
Wait, how old is he? I had no idea.
Let me tell you, with my hand on a stack of Bibles, the streams I did on Justin TV should never be unearthed. They were rancid looking. They are unwatchably hard to digest what is even happening on screen. The shit I was broadcasting looked like a Sasquatch photo. It was extremely blurry. It looked like you were trying to remember a dream. It was the lowest possible bitrate, the lowest possible FPS. The audio was incomprehensible. It sounded...
I do think that this proves that if you're interested in becoming a streamer, which I think is probably true for a bunch of people that are even watching right now, you should just start. See a lot of people, they get the best mic, the best webcam, they get their upgrade to the PC, and then they get cold feet and they're like, oh, I'm not sure if it's perfect yet. Nobody cares, right? You just have to start. I'm not saying you're gonna get viewers that way. The path to success, especially on starting on Twitch, is not easy or simple. It's a bit easier to be discovered on YouTube and then bring those people back to Twitch. But you do need to just start it, because you need experience speaking in front of your mic, even if it's peaking. You need experience speaking in front of your webcam, etc.
Like 3 walkie-talkies underwater while torpedoes were blowing up around them. It was terrible. It looked like something out of The Ring. I bet everyone that accidentally tuned into one of my Justin TV streams thought they were going to die in 7 days. And I used to stream fucking horrific World at War Zombies gameplay. Let me show you one of the surviving archives of a clip from it.
Shit, I'm the last one. Critical. We can do... Oh, shit. Shit. 2 seconds! No!
Some frame drops.
Ah! Split the defense! Split the defense! Hustle play! Hold on, I gotta talk on the mic to just hear this. Who's spraying fire on me? Oh, Jesus!
This is his streaming voice. The goggles. My eyes, the goggles do nothing.
I just took on the world zombies population, and that one almost took me out.
That, my friends, is the old glory days of streaming, the golden era. That's what it used.
It's actually pretty good. You know, he's really trying to be entertaining, and it is. Yeah, I wish I had a high-quality stream like that.
To look like back in ancient times. I'm actually at the point where I feel like the grandpa from Rugrats, Lou Pickles, where he'd tell a story like, we had to hike 15 miles up a hill in the snow just in order to get a single fucking thing of smelling salts. Like, that's how I feel. That's how we used to broadcast our streams on Justin TV. Well, I guess not everyone. Angry Video Game Nerd back then used to have a 24/7 Justin TV stream going on, and it was pretty good quality. But a lot of us were streaming like that. So, I'm getting a bit off track. Just going down memory lane with Twitch. I have been on there for a very long time. I did take a break in 2011, but I've always considered Twitch my home for streaming. So, I don't plan on leaving home. Think of this as we're no longer married. Now we're just friends with benefits, I guess. We're not monogamous. I do still plan on streaming on Twitch. And I think I always will. But I will also be streaming elsewhere too. And what I eventually want to do is be able to do different content on different platforms for streaming. So, for example, the Moist Wrestling League, we have our next taping next week. I do eventually want to take the Moist Wrestling League live, and I would love to be able to do it live on YouTube, because I think it would just go so fucking hard on YouTube. I like a lot of the features YouTube has over Twitch. The ability to just go back in a stream, just rewind it like native in the player, I think is great. I think the chat functionality is so fucking primitive, it is weak right now. Ludwig has Truffle to help with that, but the actual built-in YouTube streaming chat is trash, and it needs a complete overhaul. But I really do just love the idea of being able to do different projects in different places. Another thing is Dungeons & Dragons. We're going to be doing our own Dungeons & Dragons show. Not
Holy shit, I had no idea he's interested in that. That's going to be fun.
like in an official capacity partnership with Wizards or anything. It's just our own silly campaign that we're putting a lot of resources into to make like really high quality, because we've been obsessed with Critical Role and Dimension 20 recently, and we just thought it'd be so fun to have our own wacky D&D adventure show that we would love to take live. And I think YouTube would be another great streaming platform for that content. But that's long term. Right now, there's not going to be a huge difference in content between YouTube streams and Twitch streams. Like tonight, I plan on
Yeah, Critical Role is really good. They're so good at what they do.
speedrunning. I don't know if I'm going to try learning the Gollum speedrun or the Jedi Survivor speedrun.
All right. He did something that I think might be cool for me to do as well. He actually played the game Gollum. You know, the Lord of the Rings themed game, which was quite universally panned for not being particularly good. And he actually hates his viewers and himself enough to subject himself and his viewers to the entire experience of finishing the game. Now, putting that next to what I personally usually do, which is playing Warcraft 3 and Dota 2 and Baldur's Gate, that just feels unnecessarily tortuous. But it's also kind of funny. It reminds me of this pizza reviewer that I saw. A really charismatic pizza reviewer that went intentionally to the worst rated New York pizza places to review them. This man was African American, and the shop even had some bad reviews for being racist to African American, and he wanted to see how they would react to him. Now, it is a little bit of the observer changes the experience. You know, that phenomenon from science where when you observe something, it changes how it actually is. Because he brings his camera there. So I don't doubt that they're aware of that and they're not going to like be racist against him there. But I thought that was a really cool concept. And he actually liked the pizza. So doing that kind of thing where like you're going to try something that supposedly is quite bad and then having a laugh at it could be pretty interesting. So I've been thinking of starting like maybe a subscriber day where subs can choose what game I'm going to play. Could be good, could be bad. I don't have to necessarily intentionally seek out the worst game.
The Jedi Survivor speedrun looks super hype, and I think it'd be a fun one to learn, but I also love the idea of speedrunning Gollum, the worst game of the year so far.
The worst game of the year so far. Lucky that he didn't that it didn't come out in the same year as Reforged, or it would have been second worst release anyway. Reforged, of course, a good game.
So we'll see. But yeah, it's kind of like the overall big plan, big picture now with no longer being exclusive to Twitch. I will, of course, still be streaming on Twitch. Like, I'll probably do more Dark and Darker on Twitch, tomorrow. Or maybe I'll do Dark and Darker tomorrow on YouTube as well. Like, that's the fun of it. I now have the flexibility to choose which platform I go live on. And eventually, I would love to be able to have different content live in different places. So I just wanted to talk about this a little bit and also say a big thank you to Twitch for even letting me do this because, like I said, I did still have a lot of time left on that contract, but we came to an amicable decision to just say, hey, it's all good. So that's super nice of them. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to do some wacky stuff. Just wanted to talk about all this. That's about it. See ya.
All right, that's about it. See ya.
Blizzard PR and...
All right. Even Grubby is a React Andy now? Yeah, I mean, I think it would be inhumane for me to deprive the world of my profound opinions, don't you think? And we gotta bring some balance to the force. So anyway, that was about it, guys. See ya.